Yori Folari. I guess the news of the day, it's been trending, is the Nigerian Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, resigns. And that's our caption. But when this thing first broke, you might have heard that the Nigerian Minister of Defense, Mohammed Badaru, resigns, citing health concerns. This is very, it's an unexpected resignation. In fact, some can even say sudden. So Lord knows what happens beyond the explanation that was given by the minister reportedly that he was having to resign. I don't think they used the expression step down. He is having to resign because of health concerns. Okay, to try and understand a bit more about this, if there is anything more to understand about it, it's just that you know us, we are curious. We will nudge here, nudge there. Might it have been that, even though they've given us the answer, they said it's because of health, but then we will begin to look at, are there other possibilities? People who will tackle that for me today, we got Dr. Stephen Okwori. He is security consultant and strategist. He's a fellow of the Nigerian Army Resource Center. He joins us from our Abuja studio. Good morning to you, Dr. Okwori.
Good morning, Uncle Yori.
Thank you very much for coming on again. And right next to me in the studio in Lagos, contrasting Abuja, thank God for technology. There you, like witchcraft. Yeah, one man is in Abuja, one man is in Lagos. We're speaking to both of them at the same time. Libros Oshoma, barrister par excellence.
Thank you, Yori.
The only thing we're waiting for now is for the announcement to be made. You know it. I don't need to go there. You know the announcement we're all expecting.
Like Shakespeare said, it will come when it will come.
Thank you very much, Libros. Thank you very much for joining us. So, Dr. Okwori, as I was just saying, we can be a curious bunch, we Nigerians. And even though we've been told that the Minister of Defense has resigned, citing health concerns, it still would have come as a shock to many people, especially when you look at all the things going on in the polity right now. So I guess the first question I would ask you, Dr. Okwori, is that were you also shocked when you heard the announcement that such an important minister as the Minister of Defense had resigned suddenly?
I would say I was shocked. Why? Because the time the news came to this public space at about 10 p.m. or so. So I was wondering, why should the minister resign at such a time, But the fact here is, about 2 years plus, when the president nominated his cabinet,
yes, I
wasn't against the nominees, because I feel, or I know that it's within the president's rights, his prerogative, his discretion to appoint or nominate whoever he wants to nominate or appoint. Yes, but I criticized the president after he has signed portfolios, because I saw that the key security ministries, that of Defense, Police Affairs, and the Ministry of Interior, were assigned to critical and pure politicians. And looking at the situation on ground when President Tinubu came on board, security was nothing to write home about. So I was thinking that he was going to come with some persons, at least, that should have some security and safety background or knowledge, and not bringing on board pure politicians. So I criticized the assignment of our portfolios, and when you look at it, what's their scorecard in the last 2 years plus? Terrorism has increased, whether we like it or not, from when President Tinubu took over. Look at the way and manner kidnapping and adoptions are happening in the country at the moment. So we cannot have a pure politician as Minister of Defense, Minister of State for Defense, also a pure politician, Minister of Police Affairs, pure politician, and that of the Interior, also a politician, but I can see the effort the Interior Minister is making, but the others, I haven't seen their effort at all. Now, when we begin to look at the executive, all headed by pure politicians, when you go to the National Assembly, we have committees on Army, Air Force, Navy, Police Affairs, Defense, National Security and Intelligence. All of them, chairmen of the committees are also politicians. In the House of Reps as well, it's the same thing, just the way the Senate is. So you will not blame the National Assembly, the Senate and the Reps for having politicians as chairmen of these security committees that they have in the National Assembly, right? So I think that what is happening now is that we need to see how to create a path, to see how to begin to address these security issues. We have retired service chiefs, retired military police and all that, DSS that are out there, and even some of us that are in the private sector that also have security background and knowledge. We have well enough number on the ground that we should see them saddle such responsibility, and assume these positions we are talking about. So the Minister of State for Defense as well, I should expect that he should also be tendering his resignation letter, because for me, the Minister of Defense, the main Minister of Defense, he has tried his best, but that of the Minister of State for Defense should go. The Minister of Police Affairs, what is he doing? I haven't heard anything about him in terms of what he is doing with regards to manning that position as Minister of Police Affairs. When the president rejigged the military architecture, I commended him for doing that. But I said it on your program here that I expect the president to also rejig some other security agencies.
Okay.
Now, so that we can know what we are doing.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. Let me bring this to Liberals. How surprised were you when the news broke?
If you are a follower of the event, you will definitely not be surprised. Considering the interface between the National Security Advisor and the American government recently, where we also learned that certain concessions and discussions were made, certainly you will know that some things would give. And I would not sit down here to also buy that line that the minister resigned for on head ground. Because anytime you hear that one big, because in Nigeria we don't resign, anytime you hear that one big fish up there has resigned on head ground like Ganduje and now Badaru, it means that they were asked to step down. But because government would not want to disgrace its own, so they will say they resign on head ground. And also, before now, even under Obasanjo, persons, they collect resignation letters from certain persons, even upon appointment.
Yes.
So when they want to ease you out, they'll put a date and say you have resigned. So maybe that's also the case here, because
we actually do that in Nigeria.
Yes. And so maybe that's the case here, because I'm also hearing that the former Chief of Defense Staff, retired Lieutenant General Musa, is coming on board. So if that's the case,
Christopher Musa.
Yes. Fantastic officer. If that's the case, then certainly the minister didn't resign on head ground. Maybe his resignation that probably had been signed before, and I don't think that's the case, or he was just asked to, step down because the job certainly has become overwhelming. Also, I would want to say, I agree with my colleague in Abuja.
Okay, Dr. Okori.
Dr. Okori, that the Minister for State for Defense ought not to be a minister in the first place at all. There is no... Yes, Matawale ought not to be a minister for defense at all, a minister at all. There is no problem with appointing politicians to man security positions. There's certainly no problem with that. Even, who knows, even as a governor, you get security briefings, you also had relate with your security apparatus. These are former governors. There's no issues. The only problem is when you don't even put any effort. Look at the Minister for Interior. Is he not a politician? But look at the effort. Consistently, he's creating innovation to ensure that, influx of foreigners are checked in Nigeria. Look at our airports today.
Isn't he more of a technocrat than a politician?
If you call him a technocrat in politics,
okay,
you won't be far from it.
Okay.
So certainly, it's not everybody who is in politics that's also just supposed to be there. But what we have seen so far is the fact that most of these people, they come into politics and then politics just become their occupation, nothing else. And that's what we're seeing from the Minister of Defense that just resigned, and even his Minister for State for Defense. You remember, I just posted a video this morning. You remember when Matawali, as governor of Zamfara, was making excuses for banditry. Oh, not all of them are criminals. Some of them, they live in camps and they have agreement with vigilante, and this vigilante will come and sack them, and so they are, also retaliating. Since when has retaliation with arms become a way of setting scores? And a governor, for that matter, is telling us that, yes, and then also the army will raid their camp, they don't like that, and so that is why it's like a reprisal attack. That was the former governor. And the only thing he could be given is to be compensated with ministry portfolio. And that's why it's like Gumi, who is saying today, include these boys in the budget. Tomorrow you make him a minister for state for defense because he says he knows these people. I think, if anything I hear, is to go by. I think that these were some of the requests that, the American government had made to collaborate, to say, look, we have it on reliable authority that some of your men are in bed with these people, and they must go.
With the
Just
enemy.
the same way the Saudi Arabian government refused to allow Sheikh Gumi into Mecca recently. So this is not the time for the government to begin to play politics. Why the Mr. President is fixated on 2027? Also, he should, because you can take it to the bank. Even his greatest critic agree that in terms of the macroeconomy, to a very large extent, he's been able to stabilize the economy, even at a price. But for a security, he's so fixated on 2027 that he has completely left security in the hands of bandits.
You prefer the word fixated?
Yes.
As opposed to keeping an eye on?
No, fixated. I prefer the word fixated. And he has left security for bandits. Okay. And this is the time because if he provides an enabling environment and a safe country, Nigerians will beg him for third term, not just second term. Okay. So that's what he should be concerned with.
Hey, Dr. Okwori, very interesting and speculative journey. Even liberals won't disagree with me, because that is how it is sometimes. And as long as we just make it known upfront that, well, this is speculation, because as liberals was punctuating what he was saying with, according to what I am hearing. So if you just evaluate those things, because there's stuff out there. And by the way, both of them are former governors, both the minister and the Minister of Defense, both the Minister of Defense himself and the Minister of State for Defense. Both of them, have been governors respectively. And this whole question that liberals brought up about, look, the round peg in a round hole, I don't know how much of that you think was done. I think there was one time when we had a pharmacist as the Minister of Health, and Nigerians had, wanted people to have to hear their say. What do you think about this? Because that conversation is also going on in the ambassadorial sector, where some people are also commenting that, look, all these people that you are putting in there are many professional, highly trained ambassadorial candidates. Maybe when we have exhausted that, you can then go to non-professional. But I digress. Please concentrate on the real, the real matter. What do you think, Dr. Okwori?
Yeah, you see, I have issues when it has to do with putting square pegs in round holes.
Okay.
My brother, Barrister Oshoma, that is in the studio there, he knows that as a security consultant, I cannot function as the Attorney General and Minister of Justice. So you cannot take me to an unfamiliar terrain. You understand? And I have some knowledge about security. Having read up to PhD, did research on crime, criminality, and all that in Nigeria and outside the shores of this country. If you want to give me Attorney General, of course I will reject. We saw in this country when Rauf Aregbesola was appointed Minister of Interior, he publicly said that they have taken him to where he doesn't have any knowledge about.
And he sat
right.
there.
Nigeria,
But he remained in that office. He remained in that office.
He remained there for 4 years.
You're not about to look a gift horse in the mouth.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
But you see, Nigeria is blessed with abundant human resources. We have people that are professionals, that are well-to-do, that are brilliantly doing well in different professions, right? So we are not lacking Nigerians in any ministry that we have in this country. Look at Dave Umahi. He's an engineer and he's performing well, whether we like it or not. The fact that he doesn't know how much it costs a kilometer to. So the point I'm making is that we have Nigerians that are well-to-do in different professions. So why should we bring an accountant, that's Badaru, as a Minister of Defense, then Matawali, well, I don't even know his qualification. I don't even know what he read. No qualification, because I saw his CV flying on the social media. The highest certificate was primary certificate, right? So in this time and age that we are being confronted with criminality, our communities are being ravaged by bandits, terrorists, and all that. Nigerians are paying heavily for ransom in this country. In the last 1 year, 2.56 billion naira was paid as ransom by Nigerians. And as we are speaking, a lot of Nigerians are held hostage in our forest and all that. And we'll come and put some persons, because they are politicians, we are looking at 2027, and Nigerians are being killed. So the fact is, we must have to see how to rejig the system as we are talking. I want to commend, the Senate President, Senator Akpabio. Some couple of days ago, he dissolved 2 committees that has to do with security. One, National Security and Intelligence, and the other one is the Committee on the Air Force. They dissolved them for not performing. They were dissatisfied with the activities of the both committees, and they were dissolved, right? So this is what we want to see, right? Let us see that the National Assembly are also doing their job. The committees, how well are they carrying out oversight function? Because they are not reporting periodically what they are doing at their committee level. And the majority leader was the one that raised a motion concerning these 2 committees. So Nigerians are saying that the Minister of State for Defense, he's not capable, he's incompetent to be there as well. So just the way the minister has gone, the president should also advise the Minister of State for Defense to also leave, right? The Minister of Police Affairs, what's his scorecard? This is 2 years plus. Or how well has he performed in the last 2 years plus?
Okay.
Look at our police system. Police is 95 years old. What has he added to the development of the institution, right? So we should be able to see that we put square pegs in square holes, round pegs in round holes. I know minister is just an administrative position. Anybody can be there to administer, but the fact is, you must be in a familiar terrain where you know what you need to do as a minister. The Minister of Health is doing his own as a professor, of medicine or whatever, and all that. So let us see that we have these people in place.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Dr. Query, because where you ended up, I wanted to bring that point to Libros as well. The whole issue of, look, we are fortunate to have Umahi as a minister. He's an engineer and he's doing engineering things, and he's able to talk with his colleagues who largely are engineers as well, given the role of his assignment. But there are those who say that for a ministerial position, it's administrative, so they say, and that you don't really need to be as tightly in sync as Patame and health, for instance. What would you say to that? In relation to complaints I've heard about, the Minister of Defense resigning.
There are some ministries we agree that professionalism can never be overemphasized. There are some areas you know that, look, because of the enormity of the challenge that you have, you will need a core professional, not just a professional, who is also sincere, dedicated, and hardworking. There are some also areas where you need a good administrator, somebody who is sincere, who is willing to go the extra mile to deliver. I'll give you instances. I will come back again to the Minister of Interior. The same Aregbesola said, I'm in an unfamiliar terrain. And he ended up becoming a minister known for declaring public holiday. We don't know. This current minister came. In fact, when he came, from what we gathered, well, people were, oh, how can you, this is non-juicy portfolio. You know, they have a way they describe them. Oh, this is non-juicy. Oh, why will you leave House of Rep, chairman of committee, to go and take a non-juicy portfolio to be declaring public holiday? But today, the Minister of Interior is one of the most lucrative ministry because of the person who is occupying it.
We have to be careful. Aviation. We have to be careful what we mean by lucrative.
When I'm not juicy, not juicy. When I mean lucrative, in terms of work, in terms of putting structures, in terms of collaboration, in terms of filling the gap.
So lucrative to who? Lucrative to who?
To Nigerian people. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, to the government.
Yeah,
Nigerian
to the
government and people.
Yes, to the government and to the people. Now, anytime the government want to market itself, they will point quickly to the Minister of Interior. Look at aviation. A lawyer, a senior advocate, and who, before now, you had a retired captain, flight pilot.
There you go.
You would believe that that pilot would certainly do far better.
He would excel.
He will excel. But today, you have somebody who is a non-pilot, had never worked in the aviation sector, but because of his dedication, his focus, and his hard work, and his ability to go the extra mile, that's what we expected from the ministers of defense. Look, I'm in an terrain that I do not know, but I'm willing to go the extra mile. Fashola was given super ministries. He was novel in those areas, but he tried his best. You could see him. You could see the mobility. Please also quickly permit me. You went to the area of the current, yes, so please, Uncle Yori.
Okay. Mr. George, I'll be right with you.
Mr. George, you know you're an in-house member, please. this release list of ambassadors, unfortunately, it is president prerogative. But we're talking about qualification. Not all of them are bad. You have some career diplomat who's supposed to be taking glory for this opportunity. But the list had been marred by people who should be investigated by now. What are former governors who have failed? Somebody like Governor of Abia State, for example, who has failed woefully in his state. Are we compensating him with a ministerial appointment? Now, because you need to marry this with insecurity. With the challenges we are having and the concerns of the world, America and the rest, we need people who can speak at the highest level for us, because people with vision, people with the ability to say this is what we have done before. If you cannot marry your security with diplomatic positions, then we'll completely get it wrong.
Okay, Mr. George, thank you very much for holding on. Go ahead, please.
Uncle Yori, good morning, and good morning to everybody.
Good morning.
Uncle Yori, the TVC is the last station standing right now in this country. It's the only station I watch now. And we cannot afford to make it become like others. All these Yahoo stations. I don't watch them anymore. I'm not happy with what I'm hearing from our guests this morning. That the president has left the country for bandits.
Yes.
And fixated on 2027.
Yes.
I hope I got that right.
Yes, I made a statement.
And that the commander-in-chief, the politician, has no right to be at the Ministry of Defense. Why is Nigeria a democracy? In a democracy, the military must subject itself to the supervision of civilians. That is how it is ordered. Otherwise, the president is a politician. Yes, he is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So what stops another civilian to be the one supervising military in the Ministry of Defense? You can talk about the performance of the individual. If the performance is suspect, you look for someone else that can perform better. The Ministry of Internal Affairs The Internal Affairs is also supervising some security agencies. But can we not see what the civilian politician is doing there? It's about the person, not because they're a civilian. If the president is a civilian and is the commander-in-chief, I do not see anything wrong in a civilian being the Minister of Defense.
Okay, I hear that up to there. I said that your main objection is the principle that you have just enunciated, thoroughly now. That look, I take that.
Let me quickly
but what? So
let me quickly.
One moment, please.
Because he's referring to me. I want to quickly correct that impression.
The point
it's only a friend. Sorry, Mr. George. It's only a friend that can tell you that your mouth is smelling. And if I'm your friend, I should be able to tell you that you're not doing well.
You are there for 1 hour. I only have 1 minute to speak.
Thank you. I just need to correct an impression.
Okay.
Yes. So, Uncle Yori, the minister, whether he resigned on health grounds or no health grounds, is not the issue here. The issue here is the security situation on ground right now. Though most of it was instigated by opposing politicians, the security situation needs to be addressed.
Okay. All right.
And now, to address it, you need a befitting supervisor. So if the president considers it necessary to even ask the Minister of Defense to resign, whether they ask him to resign or he's sacking him is immaterial. There's a need for someone that can act what the country needs in that position right now.
Okay.
And if it means changing him, so be it.
I get the point you're making. Thank you very much, Mr. George. I'm afraid we've run out of time for me to go on break, but thank you nevertheless for the point that you are making. Stay with us, please. We'll be right back. Okay, thank you for staying with us. We've just come back from a break, and Benga in Abuja, he held on right through the break. Good morning to you, sir. Okay, I don't think he's there anymore, but we did hear that he was going to hold on for the entirety of the break.
Hello, are you with me, Mr.?
I've been calling you since. Good morning. Thank you for holding on. I've been calling you since. Go ahead, please.
Yes, so, okay. I think Oshoma is not being fair to the to the minister that resigned and the president. Let's go back. I live in Abuja, and with my business, I've traveled all over the state in the north. From 2023 to now, a lot of things have been done. Kaduna Road is free now. You can drive 2 a.m. with your eyes closed. Ministry of Defense make it happen. Biningwari, before the election, you can't go there. The whole market was closed for 10 years. The whole cattle market, corn market was closed for 12 years. Now, Biningwari to Kaduna, you can go there 12 a.m. When the president was going to campaign there, Late Lagbaja was in his convoy. Amosan followed him. But now the place is safe now. China Kaduna is safe now. Not Kisa Kaduna. The Minister of Defense, before, when Lagbaja was there, was giving reports every 2 weeks of bandits killed, terrorists killed, those who are rescued, and those who are arrested. Total about 13,000 plus have been killed who are not alive. About in July to August, more than 50 bandits were killed in an operation in Niger State with DSS, military, and the Red Corporation working together. We can't, because of what is happening now, say that they have not done anything and say the president looks for the next election. No. I live in the north. We know what is happening here. We don't need social media what is here. Mm-hmm. We feel the heat here. The president has done a lot. I'm telling you. All right. In the area of insecurity. Mm-hmm. Nobody told him to change the service shift. It wasn't Trump warning or blessing God that the service shift. When he declared emergency on training school, not because of Trump, let's give it to who it is. The minister have done his bit. Let him go and rest and enjoy himself. Do not come here and deliver him and call him late because something. All this theory that maybe he was sacked, maybe he was this and this. Let him go and rest.
Oh,
Somebody
okay.
come and take over.
Okay, so Benga, thank you,
This
because
thing
you've just let me know you don't buy into the
before-
story. You don't buy into the story that he was pushed, that it actually.
I did not buy into the story.
Okay,
I did not
excellent.
buy into the story.
Thank you.
Between the handing over of the former security chief and this one, these people came in try to do whatever 2 or 3 things. Between that handover, there's a gap, there's a lacuna created, and they work on it.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Benga, especially for your dedication in waiting right through the break because you didn't want to miss the opportunity. Dr. Okwori, you're still with us. It's been a few minutes we've not heard from you. This might be a fine time to come in. Give me your take on what you've just heard.
Well, the last caller, in as much I want to appreciate him for telling us or giving us briefs about what is happening in the North with regards to insecurity. I want to remind him that just yesterday, the 19 governors and the key traditional rulers, the Sultan of Sokoto and the Emir of Kano, all the emirs in the northern states, they all gathered in Kaduna yesterday. There was a reason why they gathered. The reason why they gathered was a result of insecurity. So if the last caller is saying that the North is peaceful, the North is safe, you can drive from Abuja to Kaduna, 2 a.m. and all that. I also live in the North. I also travel within the North, but I travel with my heart in my mouth because you don't know the possibility of a crime happening. 2 days ago, between Kaba and Kogi, come and see commuters. They parked on the road. Kidnapping was happening along the road. So, you see, I am not a politician. And I'm pretty sure that Barrister Oshomode is also not a politician. We are like external advisors to the president. So when we find ourselves in a forum like this, and we begin to say things the way we see it and the way we feel it, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just the way Oshomo said there, that is only a friend that can tell his friend that the mouth is full of odor or smell, right? We are supporting Mr. President in any way deemed possible. If the president gives us opportunity, say, this is what you want us to do for me, we are ready to do it. So this forum that we have found ourselves, Uncle Yori's program, is an opportunity to tell Mr. President, you are doing well in this regard. But in this direction or in this path, we expect that you should do like this, do like that. The people that are working with Mr. President as his advisors, they will not tell Mr. President the plain truth, the way we are emphasizing or expressing it on your program, right? Because they want to keep their job. We know how people that work with high-powered politicians like Mr. President, how they work with them. They are unable to tell Mr. President the truth.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
Since we find ourselves in this situation, we must tell ourselves the truth. And Nigerians are aware of the truth. Things are not going the way it's expected. Right?
All right.
We want Mr. President to do more because it's his constitutional responsibility to provide security for the citizens of the country. Okay.
What you just finished saying there reminds me ever so slightly of former President Obasanjo, also saying this kind of a thing. Of course, there have been all sorts of reactions to that, with President Obasanjo coming up with the primary duty of any government is the safety and security of its people, which every president knows anyhow, certainly this president as well.
Absolutely.
Apostle Diamond in Iba. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Chief Yoli.
Thank you for calling in.
You are welcome.
Please go ahead.
This issue of security
The minister
is not a laughing matter.
The minister resigning due to health. Okay.
Whether he resigns due to health issue or not, the man has tried his best. Like they are talking about, hello?
Yes, I can. We're hearing you.
They are talking about that Kaduna Act. It seems to be very, very ruthless. Honestly, I am not working again. I'm now retired. And tell you about the architecture the topography of the northern part of the country. But thank God we are still alive. But look at it, mate.
I need 15.
The most dangerous place I used to travel today. Anybody traveling by air, then traveling by air, then talking on the television, is not saying the truth about what is going on. Even the social media would not talk this.
Okay.
Go down to this from at Obagana, where Dangote has his cement factory, then towards Ede. It's the most dangerous place I've ever seen in my life.
Okay.
But thank
Well,
God,
thank you very much, Apostle Diamond. I really appreciate your calling in from Iba. You see, this is the situation. We take all views. We want to hear it, all shades and colors. And so there is not everybody that will agree with what everybody else has said. But Libros, now coming back to you. The thing has reached you again.
Yeah, I do. Like I said, I've said my piece. It is for others to say their piece. So when people say, I live in the north, I travel in the north, I also travel in the north. My concern really is not when the president came, you had gains. Should the president now be complacent and allow the gains to be frittered away by this sudden uprising?
This is what is annoying some people, that there's no way President Bola Tinubu is frittering in their own eyes and estimation.
It is
frittering
bad.
away gains.
You see, the problem I have is not with the people in power. It's with the people around the corridors of power.
Okay.
Because they are friends to power, they will never tell those in power the truth. So they tell you, you are the best to have happened to this country. Meanwhile,
so you think we're frittering?
Yes.
You think we're frittering our goodwill?
I'm telling you, if you say that, yes, the president was able to secure the Lagos-Kaduna route. Recently, I went to Kaduna, and before now, you couldn't fly to Kaduna. But should we now allow the bandits to come back to these same areas that you have cleared them off? The answer should be no. Before now, you could hear the idea of bandits going into a school and just plucking children like as if you are packing tomatoes, was forgotten. But should you now allow it to come back and then forget the fact, you say, oh no, I get them before na property? It shouldn't be. So for me, I don't complain without solution. These things will become a recurring decimal until we address the question of education in the north. I visited the Emir of Daura's palace, the Emir of Katsina palace. I drove from Kano through Kazare, all the way to Daura. If you see the number of Almajiris in this palace, I asked myself, where are the Almajiris who are my age mates of yesteryears? Some of them maybe in politics, but others, where are they? Some of no education, no teachable skills. So we need, when Emir Sanusi, Lamido Sanusi was made Emir, the first issue he addressed was the issue of out-of-school children. And they said, no, you shouldn't be complaining about this. It is not your responsibility.
He got into trouble.
He got himself into trouble. Now he no longer discussed that. It's just the economy. And recently, I'm going into this area because the northern governors and elders gathered in Kaduna just yesterday because of this same insecurity. This morning, I posted a video of a senator on my wall, also addressing this issue on what they did in 2014, 2015, and how they were able to solve this problem. So the issue is, you can have immediate win, but is this sustainable without addressing the root cause of out-of-school children, without addressing the root cause of, restructuring of the security apparatus? I think now also, this idea of everybody going to Abuja to collect revenue, if you know that the gold in Zamfara will be your revenue, you are paying a tax to the center, you will not allow people to smuggle that gold. You will not allow to hold sway in those areas. The federal government will say, we have given more money to states. But what is the responsibility of the states in terms of tackling insecurity? The answer is no. And so that is why I said, it is not just enough to say, oh, in this area, this man is not a professional. But he had the opportunity to learn. He had the opportunity to be dedicated. He had the opportunity to go the extra mile.
Okay.
But there was a question the senator asked in that video. He said, the North refused to tackle this problem because they asked what is the need for us. And until we answer that question, that you don't have to wait for what is the need for you. And that this security, if you are allowed to fester, and the landmark that you fail to train today will become some of the bandits tomorrow. Just like Awolowo said years back, that the children of the poor that you fail to train today
are going to be a threat.
Are going to be a threat to the rich tomorrow. And that's what we are seeing happening in the North. And unfortunately, all of us have to bear the consequence. And so that's why we need to go back to those issues.
Let me just go back to Dr. Okwore very, very briefly. Because Dr. Okwore, we're going to have to, our signal in Abuja, it's not going to be available very, very shortly. So we started out wanting to talk about the Minister of Defense, resigning. We don't know where he's resigning. You've heard the comeback. I imagine that you're holding your ground. I'm just guessing that, look, without prejudice, let everybody be heard. Is that the point that you are making?
Okay, Ori. Everybody that is in one leadership position or the other, the president has hired such a person to perform specific tasks and specific functions and roles. We have well over 25 security agencies in this country. They were all established for a purpose, right? The military, the Army, Air Force, and Navy, how old are they? They're about 65 years old or thereabout. How old is the police? The police is 95 years old. We have the immigration, the customs, and all that. They were all established for a purpose. The DSS. So, which of these government security agency is not fulfilling its mandate, its responsibility? We should ask questions. Do they have the right tools that they are supposed to use to work with? If you ask me, none of them has come to complain that they don't have the right tools. They've told us that they have the right tools. Government has provided everything. Look at the budget. The last budget of 2025, how much is in need for them? Defense and security, 4.91 trillion naira.
Okay.
The police has its budget. The immigration, they all have their budget.
Okay.
Is it that these monies don't get to them, and the purpose why they have these monies come to them is not fulfilled? The money is not used judiciously for the purpose?
Well,
right. So
we're going to have to leave it there,
see
Dr.
that
Okwore.
we live up to our responsibilities.
But thank you very much, Dr. Okwore. Really appreciate your coming on and indeed your contribution. We're going to have to leave it there because, as I was explaining before, something about the signals that are coming from Abuja are going to be interrupted, very, very briefly. But thank you very much for coming on the program. We really appreciate your coming. We'll continue in Lagos here.
All right.
And, Libras, we wanted to talk about the minister. In fact, we are talking about the Minister of Defense, and then recommendations have come up. I think it is Dr. Okwore who has just left that said, he had the Minister of State.
Yes, because really, even before the Minister of Defense resigned, a lot of people had been calling for the resignation of the Minister for State for Defense. There were allegations that he had relationship with bandit. These are allegations. I don't know how true.
Yeah.
And then also I refer to that
Which
video.
he denied.
Yes.
He denied
Yes.
quite vigorously.
And then also I refer to that video he made as a governor where he was effortlessly or struggling to adumbrate and postulate for and on behalf of bandits that not all of them are bad and that some of them are just carrying out reprisal attack. But now with the kind of insecurity and the challenge and the threat to national security that we're having in the country today, should the president still allow people like this to continually occupy, the table where decisions are made? Should the president continually allow, because the optics for him is very bad.
Okay.
Should he allow him to put somebody like that to continue to sit down at the Federal Executive Council meeting?
So
he has tried his best.
So that's what you have taken out of this.
He has tried his best.
Okay.
Let him go and rest. Let some other person come and try their best.
In fact, the speculation even has a replacement ready.
Yes.
For him.
Yes.
Speculation has a candidate ready.
That's why I'm saying that I learned that the former chief of the chief of defense staff,
yes,
Major General Christopher Musa, it's coming in as replacement.
So the speculation goes, where did they hear it?
The moment, no, government things, even though they are secret, are not secret. The moment that man was dropped,
yes.
the moment that man was dropped, a lot of people were like, oh, no. This man has, if for anything, he's been using, both military and civilian approach to tackle this challenge. So we need people like, in fact, it is people like that we need at this time.
Okay.
Even to make him an ambassador.
Mazi has suffered enough.
Oh,
suffered in quotes. Good morning, Mazi Okoroafo. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Sayori. Good morning again. Sayori, honestly speaking, the Minister Badaru is signing. He has thrown in his power. It's a welcome development. But the question is this. In as much as he's going,
no. You see, when you say he has thrown in the towel, wait a minute. Health, on health grounds. Health doesn't allow you very much room to maneuver.
Whether he throws his power, whether he has anything,
whether they remove the towel.
You are saying that you have resigned. That is just throwing the towel. We are not going to grammatical function or grammatical inspiration of throwing the towel. But like my brother was just saying, yes, people have been rumoring yesterday that Musa was in Asoro West. Whether Musa is called or not, but the truth is, we want a healthy human being that is coming them. Somebody who does this, when they hear from, he will be there, either by air or by land, by route or by troop sequence, to be there and know that they find a lasting solution. But the question is this: whatever we are doing, federal government should do the needful. That is to say, let us start using the drone, community-wise drone, local government drone, state-wise, either we like it or not. Those forests must
Let's start to use those assets. We must begin to use those assets. Thank you very much. Assets that cost us a pretty penny. What Mazi is saying is that we need to now show that we are capable of using them.
I do not think that we are not using those assets. We are, but the thing is, insecurity is local. But we are tackling insecurity from a distance. We need to involve the locals and empower them. Then that's where that's where I will agree with him that the asset, those that are using the asset are from outside jurisdiction. You need to empower those within jurisdiction to learn to be able to use this asset because they know themselves. The bandits grew up in a community. They live in an area. So if the people of the community also are empowered to confront these people, nobody carry fire for head now. So the problem will be minimally reduced. But when politicians or people now want to make a gain from it, and then you leave out certain persons, you send your own children abroad, and then you breed children, and you think that you can continually feed them with, religion, and expect that someday they won't revolt. Did not Northern elders also need to begin to rethink education? Because this started like education is forbidden. So all of them are educated. All of them are educated. They understand the importance of, even though you forbid Western education, but the fact remains today that you can't do anything at that level without engaging, Western education. Even the technology that they are using, it is the Western education. So they need to rethink it. Okay. They need to embrace the fact that, look, these children need to go back to learn a trade, a sellable skill.
All of this is coming from the Minister of Defense.
The Ministry of Defense. If we had politicians as Minister of Defense who were working like the Minister of Interior, like the Minister of Finance, like the Mahi that they talked about, nobody will ask them to resign. Okay, nobody should be quarreling about their resignation. But as long as they are not performing, and that's why people are saying, you can't continue, you can't be rewarded for your ineptitude.
Where did non-performance come in? Health issue. That's issue.
The man said,
unless you are saying that's a euphemism.
Yes, for when you are thrown out, you use health.
Well, that's your take.
That is what I deduce as a logician, and that is what I deduce from
and you know that not everybody agrees with you, as has been indicated this morning.
These are my personal opinion, not TVC's opinion, not the opinion of anybody. Liboros Oshoma's opinion.
And I thank you for sharing it. Thank you very much, Liboros Oshoma, legal practitioner. And also thanks to our guest who was with us until about 5 or 10 minutes ago, talking there about Dr. Stephen Okwori, security consultant, strategist, fellow, Nigerian Army Resource Center. Now that's our program, so we're going to leave it here, but do please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.